Yeah, I read all your poems. They're all so nice. The very first one is by Adi, actually. A Leaf's Surrender. Would you like
Mm.
to read it?
Yeah, I was just going to ask, how does it go? I'm attending this for the
Oh,
first
first
time.
time.
Yes.
Okay.
So do I
So,
read the poem and then I explain it, or like how does it work?
yeah, so you read the poem and then uh, you read the poem and then you can explain it, or like everyone else can also chip in to share what they think or ask you questions.
Okay, the last part's scary. Okay, so this one's called A Leaf's Surrender. And just a bit of background, what I was thinking when I came up with this. I was thinking how a lot of times in our life we feel very directionless. We don't know what to do. But in times like these, if we just do nothing and we just try to see whatever's been happening till now, which led us to where we are right now, we will realize this directionless is also a step in the path that we are taking. And oftentimes, this directionless step is like the crucial one, because I feel this is where uh, we are more open to considering everything that's happening in our life and just look everything with more openness. Hmm. Okay, so I've taken an example of a leaf in this one. So this is how it goes. The leaf lets go, trusting the wind to choose its way, finding purpose in having none. Suspended in openness, every breeze a possibility, every moment a silent thrill of something new. Directionlessness alive with gentle anticipation. Floating gently without direction, discovers freedom in uncertainty. In drifting, it sees that sometimes the deepest answers come when you stop seeking, when directionlessness itself becomes your path.
Hmm.
That reminds me of a card of the tarot, the Fool, which
Right.
talks about
And I even have one. No, this is the
uh
Queen of Cups, but I'm into
you
tarot
have
too. The Fool. Yeah.
yeah, it talks about the possibilities, the non-manifested, like like when you say the directionlessness, like it reminds me of that card.
Hmm.
Your poem makes me think of openness.
Yes. Openness, the brink of adventure, at the brink of um new possibilities, um, the start of a journey. And this is the imagery for the fool, by the way. Mm. Like he's supposed to be
Um,
stepping on a precipice of a cliff. And yeah, it feels very free. Like I love your choice of subject here, the leaf or character. Um, your character is a leaf. It gives it even more lightness, and it's like it doesn't have. It's not a person. It's something that's undefined.
yeah, when I was just thinking about it, like the kind of abstract thoughts I had were about something which is free, which has always been free, which is not destined to be a certain way. And that's how we all are. We have so much freedom in our life. Only if we just look around. A lot of times we feel our life has to be certain way. We have to do certain things in our life. But maybe when we are directionless, that's when we are open to seeing all of these possibilities.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so true. And kind of letting nature take you in its breeze,
Yeah,
take you in its flow. So I like directionlessness alive with gentle anticipation kind of makes me think of how we're just going with the flow of nature. And sometimes when we resist things, we don't feel alive, right? And
mm,
we are afraid of what's coming. But then if we just let go and flow, then every moment is like there's anticipation in every moment because it's like an adventure.
yeah,
Mm,
yeah. I don't know
The
why, but it feels like an adventure to me. Like there's so much that can happen.
yeah.
So exciting. Sorry, you were
the whole
saying
thing
something.
of
Yeah,
the whole thing of letting go and going with the flow seems very relaxing to me, like a nice thing.
Yeah. But we don't choose the relaxing thing, right? It's, yeah,
Depends.
hmm?
I think we can choose the relaxing thing, but probably not all the time.
Hmm. Yeah. And the seeking of the answers.
yeah. A lot of times when we think that we want something, we like the idea was if we want something and we know what we want, then we are seeking something which we want. And as long as we are towards a certain goal, we are not just open to everything that might come our way. We are not really free. We are not really floating or trusting the nature.
Mhm.
So when we stop seeking, that's when it's more freeing and more adventurous, and it just feels much better.
Totally agree.
Nice.
So you make the call. Do you want to move on or shall we continue dissecting
Up to you guys.
it?
We can move on.
Okay. Thank you for your beautiful poem. Or maybe at the end of each poem, we just take a few seconds of, we have a few seconds of silence to process what we read and discussed.
That would be nice.
Just a few
Okay.
seconds, 10 seconds. Okay. The Dandelion by Mary Kay.
Uh,
Hmm?
you skipped the previous poem.
Eh? Oh no,
No,
this.
no,
Okay,
no. Yeah, I
no
was
worries.
mistaken.
No worries. The Dandelion by Mary Kay. I feel like this is a feast, like being able to go through and read all of these poems. It feels like a buffet spread.
Mhm.
Mm. The Dandelion. Okay, maybe I can read this. One flower as a soft white cotton ball. Dreams whispered to a dandelion. Then a strong breath into tiny wings. Oh, these things, what the seed now leads. Does it fly far, far away, over the bushes, across the bay, carrying hope in a gentle breeze, to find new roots, this time with ease? So once more we could believe of our blooming dreams. This
I didn't understand it.
hmm?
I didn't understand what the poem was about.
I think it's about the dream of the dandelion. There is actually a children's book called The Dandelion's Dream, A Dandelion's Dream.
Um,
Uh, and it's very, very beautiful. So like someone blows into the dandelion fluff and it scatters, right? And then one of them was afraid to let go. And so, but then once it does, it sees all the wonders of the world. And then finally it lands in the soil far, far away, like this poem says, far, far away, and grows into a new dandelion plant. Yeah. Mm.
any thoughts?
I feel like this poem feels very light and fluffy and gentle and very similar to the theme of Adi's poem just now.
Mm,
Yeah, I think this also talks about of opportunities of a lot of things that can happen,
When
which
you let
are
go.
yeah, which are nascent in say uh, a seed that they can sprout and they can have
Mhm.
many more possibilities. It's very gentle. That's the kind of feeling that I get. Like like a gentle love.
Yeah. And the what's like the possibilities that are nascent in the seed. Yeah, I agree. It's very it's a very powerful theme and having like a using a dandelion um seed the dandelion seed that is flying around, it's very fragile actually. The dandelion seed is very fragile, yet it carries so much life in it, and it dares to travel far to find new roots. So at the
Yeah,
same time, I feel like there's there's a lot of courage that I'm sensing from this poem.
I like that. Does it fly far away over the bushes across the bay, carrying hope in gentle breeze to find new roots this time with you? There's so much possibility. It can go to a house in the neighborhood or
Yeah.
across like land hundreds of kilometers away, but
Yeah.
always very gentle.
Yeah. Like hope encased in a tiny little seed. Um,
Mhm.
there's beauty in how fragile and gentle it is. And we can once again believe in our blooming dreams.
Mm.
Because even a dandelion seed dares to dream. Hmm. Does anyone have any other thoughts? If not, we can pause for 10 seconds of silence.
We can do that.
Hmm. All right, let's move on. This is by Leonardus. Uphill or downhill? Do you want to read it, Arthur?
Yes. Climbing uphill, feet are light, but head is heavy. Tripped on a root, I tumbled roughly. Looking up, I see a tree, rooted in the clouds, branching towards me. Thinking loudly, did I fall down or upwards? Or have I been climbing downhill instead? Closing my eyes, then I see. No need to worry, as I am the tree. Forgetting this, I've been sleepwalking. Awoken now, so I continue walking. No matter uphill or downhill, I am free as I'm rooted and still. The poem brings this idea of rooted. Have you ever heard of that word before? Instead of in the literal meaning, like the rooting of a tree or a plant?
Rootedness?
Yeah, like is that related to grounding or something?
I think so, yeah. Being
And what does that
grounded.
mean?
Ground. Um, I think to be connected to who you are, and yeah,
Yeah,
when you're
I think
grounded.
yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
think rooted is often used like how trees are rooted in the ground. So you root yourself in the now.
Mm.
Hmm.
Yeah.
This gives me an idea of security because when you're rooted, you have access to resources, to food and water.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What
Yeah,
do you
it's not,
people?
yeah, it's like if you're not rooted, like if the tree is not rooted, it cannot get the nutrients it needs and everything. So, and hence, head is heavy, feet are light, like um, nutrients cannot or life force cannot circulate in a balanced way throughout us. So the head and the feet are unbalanced, like at the start, and so there's a lot of disorientation as well, I feel. But when you're rooted to the now, you you and your body are more harmonized, like your mind and your body become more connected,
Mhm.
and you become more grounded, and therefore no need to worry, as I am the tree. I also feel like this reminds me that in nature we can always see the we can always learn from the divine through nature and its order and its the way everything is balanced.
You mean like seeking inspiration in nature.
Yeah. So in our yoga class that the yoga class that Leo and I both attend, he's been attending it more regularly, but the yoga teacher is also our friend at the Singapore Lodge of the Theosophical Society. So she often reminds us to find our feet, and she's saying that we're very head heavy, we're very head centric, but then we are not connected to our body. We're not connected. We're not supporting ourselves through our feet. And perhaps he took some inspiration from that as well. And of course, in his own perhaps struggles in life, he feels this imbalance, as do many of us. Then in nature, we see the tree, and when we see the rivers and the mountains, and we see how everything is in harmony with nature, uh, with how the divine works through them. I feel it's very obvious. So I feel like when we see how rooted a tree is, can often find a lot of inspiration from that. Mm. There's also something interesting in the second verse, rooted in the clouds. The tree is rooted in the clouds. It would be nice for him to be here to talk us through it, but yeah.
He
I
was
think it's so
tired.
nice. I like how Leo has structured it. Like he's climbing uphill and then he trips and then he starts to think whether he's looking up or is he looking down. And then, it seems like then that person is analyzing whether the tree is going into the clouds or he's going downhill.
Right. Oh, because of his own disorientation,
Yeah,
right?
the second line says
That's why
tripped on a
rooted,
root.
looking up. But he's the one upside down, right?
Yeah, that's what I think, maybe thinking. I'm not sure.
Mm.
But it's so, uh, yeah, it's so grounding, like you were saying.
Mm.
I like the ending a lot. No matter uphill or downhill, I am free as I am rooted and still.
Yeah, no matter uphill or downhill. Like it doesn't affect the deeply rooted tree.
Yeah. Also that line, closing my eyes, then I see. No need to worry as I am the tree.
Mm.
Like when you really connect with the tree, you sometimes feel that.
Yeah.
I
Like you
think
could
this
feel
has a lot of gentleness and calmness that I associate with Leo.
it. Yeah. Like you can really feel it in the poem. You can feel him through the poem.
Yeah.
I love that through your poems, we can, like through everyone's poem, we can like feel that person's, and like that person's spirit, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, I read somewhere on the internet that an artist, when creates an artwork, the artwork is very related to the artist who created it.
Mm,
Like it says, the artwork it's so you, like when you are the one who created it.
Must be a lot of like not just metaphorically, you put a lot of yourself into your work, but energetically perhaps and on much inner planes it is reflecting who you are.
Yes.
All right, shall we have a few moments of silence?
Now, just one more thing.
Mm.
I was reading that third paragraph again, thinking loudly, did I fall down on a foot, or have I been climbing downhill instead? Makes me think that, just stumbling upon something, you suddenly become aware. Like, otherwise, you're just going through your life normally and you don't worry about many
Mm,
things. But when something shakes you, then you start thinking, oh, what am I doing? You become more conscious.
that
And
is so
maybe
true.
it makes me think that,
Mm.
you question yourself. Have you been going the wrong way in your life? Did I fall down or upward? Maybe it's a blessing in that way.
Yeah, it's like he tumbled and he tumbled roughly, right? Or maybe we don't say, I won't say it's him, but I
Yeah.
tumbled roughly. So I think that's significant as well. The fact that it is like almost a wake-up call, right?
Oh, yeah. And later on, the poet says, forgetting this, I've been sleepwalking, awoken now, so I continue walking.
Mm.
That's so beautiful. Yeah.
Consciously walking now.
Yeah. Walking. Earlier it was sleepwalking.
Yes.
Hmm.
Okay, let's move on. This is by Lakshmi Kantan. The nature of the embodied. Hmm? The experiencer. Who wants to read this? Anybody can. Oh, Adi, you should read this maybe.
Okay. The nature of the embodied, the experiencer, the observer within. From childhood to youth and to old age and growth, if it passes to another body, our intellect never knows. An answer we seek as our knowledge system grows, but science looks away in matters such as those. So it's a belief, a choice of the faith you chose, and your mindsets reflect the thoughts you propose. If it's a material body from which our consciousness glows, or the observer always exists, and it's the body which comes and goes. Whichever one it is, the path always shows the fate of choice between transient and eternal flow. It's so beautiful.
Hmm.
Hmm. That's that's such a beautiful thing that Lakshmi has pointed out. The
Hmm.
observer within remains sort of constant. We go from childhood to youth, to old age, everything happens, but the observer is just there. The body keeps changing. So that's really the constant.
Mm. Oh, hi, Sviatoslav, by the way.
I swear,
Hi everyone, so good to be here.
Yeah,
Hello.
we're reading Lakshmi Kantan's poem. Mm. Whichever one it is, the path always shows the faith of choice between transient and so it's like, is he saying that because we are mostly living through our intellect, it is hard to really pinpoint where the observer is, or whether we are the observer right now. And even though it always exists, it's hard to know when we're living through the observer. But then whichever one it is, the path will always shows is like, as we go through our path, as we walk through the path, we make choices between transient things, temporal things, and eternal things, right? So that would show that's the hand of the observer, maybe the one who is choosing to heed the voice of the eternal. It's just my thoughts.
I like how grounded this poem feels. Like it takes you in the now, what you're experiencing in day-to-day life. It's not very abstract. It is abstract in many ways, but it keeps you grounded. Like how he talks about uh, we shape our life in form of beliefs. So it's a belief, a choice of the faith you choose, and your mindset reflects the thoughts you propose. So yeah, a lot of times we have beliefs, and like to be able to see all of this as an observer is already a big step.
Mm. Any other thoughts?
I also like how open-ended all the poems are. They don't push a narrative, like this is how it is, but it just sort of like simply floats an idea. Like I like how Lakshmi has written, if it's a material body from which our consciousness glows, or the observer always exists, and it's the body which comes and goes. So like considering all the possibilities, whichever feels right to you.
Yeah. Yeah, the open-endedness makes the poem like much wider and much deeper than its subject. Or yeah, I feel like the subject is very vast and very deep. So being open-ended gives like a lot of justice to the subject.
Yeah, is a
Yeah,
way to show respect in a way, right, to the depth of the topic.
feels like the poet, whoever writes the poem, handholds us, takes us to a door, and opens the door and says, "This is what I see. Now, whatever you see, that would be true for you, but this is what I see." And
Mm,
it's just beautiful.
yeah. So we can have a few moments of silence before we move on to the next poem, if no one else has anything to say. Does anyone have one last thing to add? Or
Not me.
okay, so let's process what we just read for 10 minutes. Not 10 minutes, 10 seconds. Okay. Okay. Humanity by Miriam. Svet, do you want to read this?
Okay, great. Yes. Humanity. A caress for every dream, a kiss for each flower and breeze, wings that spread wide and free, hearts beeping in the halo of peace. A dream, I dream of a new world. I dream of aromas that taste sincere. I dream of echoes of fraternity, resounding in the dawn of time. I dream of the hope of friendship. In the midst of darkness, a light shines. It is the strength of your soul song. Sing it even if no one listens. Tune in when fear becomes invasive. Sing it with the wind against. Tune it in your distress. You will see then that the good dreams rise lightly beyond the borders, and that the limits are only beliefs, that the strength of love makes you free, and the magic still exists in the eyes of those who wish to make of this a world worthy of the word humanity. It's the end, or there is more?
That's the end.
Great.
Check. Yeah, that's the end.
What do you think?
Hmm?
What do you people think of the poem?
I feel like it sounds very Miriam because in her previous poem and in quite a few of her poems, she has taken on this very striking voice of freedom, and her poem sounds very anthem-like. Yeah, this is my immediate impression. And the dream that humanity can live up to who we are meant to be is frail now, is very frail and a very small, dim light. But and no one might listen, even if you sing it. Even in fear can be overpowering. It can become invasive. Even though the wind is blowing against the song, tune to it in your distress. So the song is small and weak now, but it's strong. But it's still strong, spiritually strong. Yeah, that's what I think.
I think in the beginning there is like a theme of love and gentleness and affection to everything, like the first four lines. Then there is hope for something wonderful and good. I dream. Then there is like affirmation that there is consolation. You can find support in the difficult moments. And then at the end, the theme is that it is real. It's not just a illusionary, imaginary something, but it's actually real. So if you aspire that way, you will find that this light exists and it is real. Something like that.
Yeah, that's a beautiful flow.
I feel it's so powerful, and it makes me think that there's so much good that we can do. It just makes me feel there's so much that we all can do.
Yeah.
I know it also makes me think of how one can be so courageous and how we should believe in ourselves in a way. Like in the third paragraph, how she says, "It is the strength of your soul song. Sing it even if no one listens. Tune in when fear becomes invasive. Sing it with the wind against. Tune it in your distress." It's just so powerful. It just makes me feel very full of energy and just a want to change within.
Yeah. Strength of love makes you free. Limits are only beliefs.
Yeah,
A world worthy of the world humanity. Yeah, that we can wallow in despair, right? But because there is so much despair, and it is almost burying hope, burying love sometimes, the despair of the world. But I feel like this song is like a bird flying against the current of the wind.
yeah. How much one person can do. Imagine if everyone comes together. It reminds me of a quote. I don't know where I read it, but it goes like, "How big would you dream if you knew you couldn't fail.
Mm.
Which is, it makes me feel that same thing, that, you can do all of these things if you choose to do it.
Hmm. Yeah, that's very powerful quote.
It's just a so beautiful poem. I just love it.
Yeah. I think we should really compile all these poems into an album. Yeah. It's going to inspire so many people. Arthur, do you have anything you want to share?
No.
There's so much about this poem that I really like.
Yeah.
I
I
really
think
like how the third last line goes, and the magic still exists in the eyes of those who wish to make of this a world worthy of the word humanity. Because a lot of times we do dream of world peace and all of these big things. But yeah, like, we take any action towards it? So makes me also self-reflect a lot.
yeah.
Yeah, makes me feel everything's possible if you work towards it.
And the first verse, like Svet said, really shows a lot of reverence for everything. And I feel like it is through this deep reverence that we gain strength. Right? Maybe we can have 10 seconds of silence for this poem now.
Okay.
One Nature by Arthur. Okay, Arthur, will you do us the honor of reading your poem?
Okay. Nature. Nature is a great thing. In nature, everything makes sense to us. I walk in nature, feeling the wind on my head. The sounds of nature slowly take my stress away. Nature is old, so are we. I walk in nature, looking at the green leaves on the plants and trees, the sound of the frogs, the waterfalls. So the poem is basically about nature.
I feel like you write in a haiku kind of style,
Yes,
like
yes,
just writing what you observe.
I have written many poems in this style.
Is it intentional? Or how intentional is it?
Uh, it is the way it comes, like I start writing and and then the poem just ends up taking this form. And the verses, the sound of the frogs and the waterfalls reminds me of the of a place of the Theosophical Society here in Brazil, the Instituto Teosófico de Brasília. It's a place where there are theosophical meetings and stuff like that. And it's in a countryside place, and there's nature and waterfalls, frogs.
It's beautiful.
I really love this phrase, nature is old, so are we. I think is very deep. I
Yeah.
It resonates a lot. So it's like
Interesting.
we are more than just this personality, clearly, because this personality is not old, but we are old. So we are something else, something more eternal than just this one manifestation. And there is this feeling
Yes.
that we have sometimes, right?
Even if you think about, even if you think, well, we know that nature is millions of years old, and humanity is also very old. Like there's also this, like, evolution happens, but it happens very slowly, so it's old. We are Humanity is old, nature is old.
It's nice to
Like,
reflect on that.
what?
It's I feel like it's nice to reflect on that whenever we can, to know how far we've come. And
Yeah.
we can feel it through nature. Like when we connect with nature, we just resonate with that age-old um, thing that's, yeah, the thing that keeps living despite all the changes.
Yeah, so many things have happened in nature. So many things have happened in humanity over the years. Like, only in planet Earth. And what if there are and what if there's life on other planets, and they also can have lots of history, so many things happening.
I feel like I need to spend more time in nature.
Mhm.
But we don't have much of that where I come from. Like nothing wild, not there are parks and stuff. Yeah. But nature is
Maybe.
nature.
What?
But nature is nature, right? Like whether we're in a park or in a nature reserve, a tree is a
Yeah.
tree.
And there are the bugs and the snakes, spiders.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to spend time in nature, maybe you can plan a trip to go somewhere and spend time in nature there.
Yeah.
And do you have the sea?
Yeah, we do actually.
Well,
Um,
that's a mighty piece of nature.
Yeah.
That's what we don't have, you know. We have forests and everything, but not sea.
true. Oh, you have to travel really far to get to the
Yes.
edge, right? To the
Yeah,
sea.
yeah. Lakes, yes. Rivers also.
Mm. Yeah,
But sea is wonderful.
that is true. It's like we sometimes I tend to forget what I already have.
Oh, me too. Me too.
Yeah.
And the sea is old. Again, this topic, nature is old. When you look at the sea, I think we can feel it. Like it's something primordial. Like it has been here for since the beginning of, I don't know, this globe, or at a certain point of development of Earth, seas appeared, or formed, and since then it was here. So it has seen, as an entity, it has seen everything. So it's really remarkable.
I like how simple this poem makes me feel, that how everything is so simple in life and maybe we just complicate it too much. It's as simple as going for a walk in nature and just observing everything around.
Yeah.
It calms us down, it takes all the stress away. It's just so simple, and maybe it's our ego which complicates everything.
Hmm. Yeah, it's so simple, like the way that perhaps nature is talking, if nature could talk, saying, "Come, let me just why are you feeling so stressed?" Or maybe they're just not thinking, they're just taking the stress away without even thinking about taking all the stress of all the people who come to the park away. Mm, without even thinking why, you know. Mm. All right, the next poem is also a poem by Arthur. Maybe we could pause for a bit here and then move on. Is that okay?
Okay. Yes. Can I
Hmm.
read?
Yes.
Um, the sun. The sun is a star. It is called a planet in astrology. In astrology, the sun says how we are. The sun shines. Its rays come all from the same source. It shines so hard it is hot. The sun inspires us to shine. The sun inspires us to be ourselves. Yeah, I feel like in society there's so much thoughts of people regarding money and progress, and not about being yourself. Like like there's um, there's a whole in astrology they say about the sun, and the sun in astrology it says how you are. Like, for example, I am a Libra, so I have sun in Libra. The sun in Libra says that I like to uh, that I am like an artist, so that I am like a guy that likes justice. Like this whole thing of I am, how I am, self-knowledge, people don't focus much on that. And I think we can benefit from self-knowledge,
Hmm.
and that self-knowledge can come through astrology and through meditation as well.
Hmm. Yeah, a lot of us are in a mad rush towards many goals in life, and um, don't pause to like or find little time to pause to reflect on ourselves, who we are, where we're going, why we're here. Hmm. I also
Yeah,
like
it's
this. It shines so hard, it is hot. It's interesting because it's always been very fascinating to me, like how hot and how fiery and how it's like it's life-giving, yet it's also destructive, right? The heat of the sun. So, and in very simple words, I feel like you captured how the sun, it's like it gives so much of itself. That is how I interpret it. It's like it gives so much of itself. It burns. The sacrificial spirit of the sun is what keeps the entire solar system alive and moving. It's because of how
Yeah,
hard it's shining, of how hard it is giving of itself. It's sacrifice.
yeah, like I was gonna say something. Uh, yeah, like the sun shines hard, and uh, you gotta sunbathe wisely, because if you spend too much time on the sun, you get
Yeah.
burned. So at the same time, it is something dangerous, but it is something necessary.
Mm,
Not many things in life are like that, I think.
yeah. Mm. Perhaps its physical heat is too much to endure physically.
It just makes me feel there's a lot of power in there, but you must know how to use it.
Mm, yeah. And when we misuse it or when we're not using it wisely, then
We end up hurting ourselves.
mm, hmm. Yeah, and I'm very inspired by the sun. And so I relate to this a lot. The sun inspires us to shine. The sun inspires us to be ourselves. To be ourselves. Just shine, right? And not worrying about what others think of us. Just shine.
Yeah.
Hmm. Like just give and serve and shine, be who we are, because that's the truest expression of the divine within us.
Uh, when Kalu Rinpoche came to Brazil once, I asked him, "What is madness?" And he
Rinpoche?
replied,
Are you talking about
Kal, Kal, Kalu Rinpoche.
Rinpoche? Okay.
I asked him, "What is madness?" And he replied, "Madness is not to act crazy. Madness is not to be yourself."
Mm.
So we all fit that definition, more or less, because we all fit that definition more or less, because our real self, we are just waiting to, well, we are trying to kind of become aware of it, right? So in a very important way, in a principal way, we are not ourselves yet. We are just trying to realize our nature.
Mm.
Yeah. In that sense, there's no point of judge judging each other because everyone is not themselves yet. Everyone's trying to be themselves. Mm. Okay, if nobody else has anything to add, we can have a few seconds of silence. 10 seconds of silence for this poem.
Okay.
All right. Hey. Love in Disguise. This is by Brandon Go. As we unite in earnest prayer, angels glide across the skies. But the world does not concur. So, rising amidst its cries, silence gains speech to adjure. See beyond the divine disguise. When we pray for God to take that which He never did create, He cannot illumine our blindness, can scarce make us see the madness. That this we pray to go away is but a mirror to convey that which springs from the very start, the blight within humanity's heart. So heed we must the voice that beckons, and give thanks to the heavens. From the beginning we must begin. The cause of suffering is ever within. Looking within to root out evil.
The cause of suffering is ever within. So
Yeah.
like that implies that solving ourselves within will solve our suffering.
This phrase is very interesting, that God did not create what we are asking God to take away. So it's on us. We created that illusion, that ignorance, and everything that comes from that. So it's on us. We did it somehow, maybe not being aware of it, maybe, well, many lives ago, we don't know when, maybe. But we should remove it because it's our thing to do. It's for us to do, and we can do it. So
Yeah. And therefore, from the beginning, we must begin. The cause of suffering is ever within. We have to go deep into the source of where it came from, which is our own creation.
He cannot illumine our blindness. That's so beautiful.
Yeah.
It just reminds me of what Krishnamurti said. There's no God, there's no Guru. That's the best it's you. You need to do it yourself.
Yeah, like ultimately, we have to, in a way, fix things, right? We can call on aid and help and support, yes, but the hard work has to be done by us.
Yeah. Yeah, even when someone helps us, they just point us in direction. We still have to take that step ourselves. So it's always us.
In the first verse, the world does not concur. The, the world is kind of, the world goes against the suffering of the world is, it kind of drowns out our prayer in a way, but rising amidst its cries, silence gains speech to adjure. See beyond the divine disguise.
I like how he also mentions that uh, it's but a mirror to convey that when we face all of the suffering and the things that we feel, they're sort of like a mirror which conveys that we have been doing it the wrong way from the start. So it also helps us see that you've made some mistakes and now maybe you can reset.
Mhm.
And this makes me feel you don't need a guru, you don't need a teacher to rely on someone or something to save you. Your life teaches you everything as you go on. If we are just more aware of what is happening around.
Yeah, life is the greatest teacher. Instead of praying for it to go away, we can use it as a mirror.
Hmm.
Does anyone have anything else to add?
Not me.
Right. Let's take in this poem in silence. Right. A New Bicycle by Smita. Okay, I'll read this one. A New Bicycle. Oh, anybody wants to read? Actually, I just read the previous one, so
I can read.
okay.
A new bicycle. I asked him once for a bicycle new, and the very next day it stood in my view. With joy I danced, my heart aflutter, his love a gift like no other. But summer came with its warm embrace, thence to visit kin a joyous place. Yet father stayed, his brow furrowed deep, no leaves to spare, no restful sleep. Why can't you come? I asked, dismayed. In my childish in my childish heart a sadness weighed. Mother's gentle voice soft and clear. You're small, my dear, don't you fear. His absence spoke volumes loud and clear. In his eyes love and regret so near. Every day he rose before the sun, his work, his duty never undone. From dawn till dusk his hands did toil, for his children's dreams his life embroil. His worn hands and tired eyes tell a tale of sacrifice, no disguise. No leaves to take, no time to spare. For bills to paid, he toiled with care. Each paycheck earned, each penny saved, in love's silent sacrifice engraved. The bicycle gleamed, a cherished prize, a
Perish.
testament of cherished prize, a testament to love in my eyes. His sacrifice in every spoke, every gear, a father's love forever dear. Years have passed, the bicycles shine, a memory cherished, a love divine. His worn hands and tired eyes tell of love, a father's guise. Your microphone is muted.
Oh, yeah, I just said it's so beautiful. A father's love has touched her deeply.
Yeah. So the idea is that the father couldn't come because he was busy. Is that the idea? I hope.
Mm, yeah, no leaves to spread, like he can't take leave of work. Hold on. Mm. Her father must be an amazing person. A life of service and sacrifice.
I like how sacrifice comes a lot of times so naturally to parents. They don't think too much before doing things for their children. And
Yeah,
it's so beautiful.
yeah. Love, silent sacrifice. He doesn't need to say much. His absence spoke volumes loud and clear. Him not being there, um, because he's working for the family, but he still shows a lot of regret in his eyes, a lot of love. So admirable and very moving.
It reminds me of the book that Vic Chin recommended in one of his seminars, Five Languages of Love, I think it's called. So the idea, I think, is that different people express love in different way, and maybe in several ways, but not necessarily in all the ways. So if two people, well, they're together, maybe, oh, in the family, they're not aware that that behavior can be actually a way of expressing love, then there may be misunderstanding, and
Yeah.
working hard, like to give work
Acts of
uh,
service.
is a service, yes, is one of the languages of love, basically.
Yeah.
And some people, like for them, maybe it's a main language of love that they speak. So it's, we may appreciate it a lot if we understand it.
Yeah. I feel like acts of service is the most profound language of love. There's also giving presents, and then there's saying loving words. There's also touch and all of those. Yeah, but service, I feel like is the purest and the most profound one expression of love. Right, so there's two more poems. Shall we have 10 seconds of silence for this poem?
Yes.
Fate by Yugesh. Svet, do you want to read this one?
Yes, great. So it's by Yugnesh.
Yugnesh's brother.
Fate. The world is a harmony of opposites, where light and darkness coexist. We fall within a spectrum from mild to extreme, be it a commoner or a Lord Supreme. We are slow to self-reflect, yet quick to judge. From our perceptions and beliefs, we refuse to budge. Ourselves we categorize from within our hearts, yet others we victimize as the sum of their parts. Nature would nurture what's more telling, curses and virtues what's more compelling. Does one follow destiny and fate as a must? Can one overcome the anchor of their past? Behold a story of two different halves. Behold a story of two different worlds. One the self and of others. What's the difference? Who decides? Wow, so good.
Everyone is such a good poet.
Mhm.
For me, the most powerful line that is can one overcome the anchor of their past? Yeah. I feel like it also says a lot about the separateness that we feel between ourselves and others. So we feel a lot of this separation. I feel that from verse 2. Also another open-ended, very open-ended poem.
I think the last lines are very interesting because, like, there is us, there is me, and there is others in my perception. And then the question is, what's the difference really? And then another question: who is it that makes that difference to appear to us? That self that produces this illusion. Who is it that decides that there is some difference? A little bit reminds me a lot of Raman Maharshi question: who am I? You know, who is the one that asks questions? Self-inquiry.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I really like the ending. Yeah, and I like how this sort of grows into that question. First, we talked about we are slow to self-reflect, yet quick to judge. Uh, and from our perceptions and belief, we refuse to judge. So self-introspection comes first. And then there's the question of who is introspecting.
Hmm. Like asking us to see, go deeper into ourselves to find the thinker behind the thinker, or the thinker behind the thoughts. Hmm. Anyone have anything else to add?
No.
A lot of self-introspection, but nothing to it.
Yeah, I feel like it's something to be, yeah, something to meditate on. Okay. Right. Let's move on. This is the last one. This is by me, actually. Okay, it's called Silence. Vaster than joy, brighter than passion, stiller than sleep, deeper than depression. Into the eye of the storm, into silence. Inwardly I retreat. There, illusions lose their weight and power. There, in stillness, the inner warrior breathes. Hmm. To put it simply, I'm just writing about how silence feels and its power and its depth.
It's beautiful and powerful,
Yeah.
very
Like,
inspiring. I will I will save it for inspiration. Thank you.
Nice poem.
I feel like silence is a very a topic that I always come back to. Yeah,
Why is that?
because it's both fascinating and it gives me strength. And it's fascinating because I feel like it's only in silence that I can find myself and get my bearings.
You connect to silence.
Yeah, but I want to connect more to it. And I feel like that's where the inner warrior is. But it's not easy to connect with silence.
How do you connect with silence?
Good question. I try to do that in my meditation. That's how I usually meditate. I go into silence and try to go as deep as I can. Yeah. And also in times of distress, yeah, to retreat.
I see.
Yeah, retreat into silence.
So maybe like 5 minutes of meditation can give you connection to silence.
Yeah, but depends on the mind and
Depends on the day.
depends on the day. Mm. And also that's where I think clarity can be gained, so illusions lose their weight and power. You see things more clearly and then you're not blinded by everything and things become simpler. Mm.
Like a relief.
Yeah.
I like how you describe it as passion, joy, but also very still. So, a combination of both.
Mm. Yeah. I feel like because, when you compare something that's very abstract with other things, you can understand it better. So I think this is what I'm trying to do.
When I imagine it, it just makes me feel that, how you go into a spiral. That's what I imagine when I read this. Like the good kind of spiral you go deeper and deeper into.
Ah,
Think it's pretty late. So thank you for this session. I feel like it's so nice reading everyone's poems. Um, Hope to read more from you, Sviet, in future sessions.
Thank you. Well, I will try.
Mm.
Thank you.
Right. So maybe we can close this session with like half a minute of meditation and end with an Om. All right.
okay.
Let me just send. Okay. Thank you. Namaste. From the warrior in me to the warrior in you.
Thank you.
Good
Wonderful
night.
to be together.
Yes.
See you. Thank you.
Are we gonna say Om? You said we were gonna say Om?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I ommed already.
Yeah,
Well,
but
it wasn't audible, I think.
no, Zoom blocks it, thinking it
Yeah.
was singing or something.
Oh, that's it. Okay.
Yes.
All
We
right.
can